Among the numerous Super Nintendo gems that the 90s had blessed me with as a child, and well before I started playing terrible license games, I had spent hours on these 3 brutal games based on George Lucas's beloved Star Wars Trilogy. They were all pretty faithful to their respected films, but took interesting liberties to spice things up, like when Luke has to face a giant womp rat on his search for Uncle Ben Kenobi. Now, it's been a while since I've played these games, but I'm going to take a look at each one today. I'm playing them on their original cartridges, so no emulation bullshit to spoil the fun. So let's start things off with Super Star Wars, and see if these are still the droids we're looking for. Super Star Wars was released in 1992, developed by LucasArts and published by JVC. Super Nintendo owners were engrossed in this beautiful 16-bit recreation of the movies. The music composed by Paul Webb really helped you feel immersed in the world of Star Wars. Paul was able to recapture Williams' score by using his own sheet music as a backbone for the game's soundtrack. What breaks this immersion is the game's difficulty though. It takes a true Jedi to reach the end of these puppies. Here, let's just take a look at the hardest difficulty, Jedi. Holy Han Solo, get me out of here! Yeah, for the sake of my sanity, let's tone things down a bit. Don't be fooled though, even the easiest difficulty is far from a cakewalk. Be prepared to be haunted by this chilling game over screen throughout your journey.
Hold me, Uncle Ben. I'm scared.
It's all here in classic retro gaming fashion. Difficult enemies, tricky jumps, this shit. Hey, Uncle Ben, why not use the Force and levitate your ass over here? This sucks! Oh boy, the developers really wanted you to believe in the Force for some of these jumps. Super Star Wars also features some vehicle levels to help break up the action, and they make good use of Mode 7 too. I remember dreading these stages as a child, but going back to them now, I find them much more enjoyable. It's like playing a course from F-Zero. Along your journey, you'll not only sport a lightsaber, but you'll gain the option to choose to play as Han Solo or Chewbacca for certain levels. Trust me, you're going to need all the help you can get for this journey. Super Star Wars will take you all through the movie. You're going to Tatooine, into the Sandcrawler, blasting your way through the Cantina Band, and into the Death Star with, hold up a second, isn't this guy from RoboCop? There was actually supposed to be a trash compactor level, but it was taken out near the end of development due to memory constraints. Still, there's plenty of amazing levels to keep you entertained. Now let's move on to the next one, Super Empire Strikes Back. This one is often considered to be the hardest of the 3, and for good reason too. The only aspect this game contains that's more forgiving than its predecessor is the inclusion of a password system. In Super Star Wars, once you've lost your last life and used up your continues, you are force pushed back to the beginning. Here, even after losing your last continue, you can just punch in the password and whabbo, you're on your merry way.
You order not. There is no
Well
time.
said, Yoda. And if these levels don't get the best of you, the bosses sure will. These behemoths are big, their health meters are ridiculous, look at this, and they come packed with incredible music. On top of the multiple playable characters, Empire has you learn Force powers that can prove to be useful during the latter parts of the game. If all else fails, you can always use this expert Jedi technique. Flippy, flippy, flippy! At the end of your struggles is a grueling duel with Darth Vader, and let me tell you, it takes a true Jedi master to beat this guy. We have one last game to take a look at, Super Return of the Jedi. This one's my personal favorite of the 3. The gameplay seems well balanced this time, and with the return of passwords and a decline in cheap enemy AI, aka this shit, the game was overall the most enjoyable. Luke, Han, and Chewie return as playable characters with newcomers Leia and Wicket the Ewok. All of the iconic set pieces are here, Jabba's palace, the Vile Rancor pit, the Ewok village, and the Battle of Endor itself. The fight with Vader at the end of this game is quite similar to how it's portrayed in the film. Vengeance! But after beating Vader, we still have one more excruciating task to complete. No, not the battle with the Emperor. This shit! And with the Empire finally destroyed, we all get to celebrate and is that Sebastian Shaw? Untouched? Still as a Force ghost? Screw the Blu-rays, get your Super Nintendo out of the shoebox and play these unaltered classics. So that's the Super Star Wars Trilogy. Now there's no denying that these are some of the finest licensed games available for the Super Nintendo. I would go so far as to say these are my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Yeah, I've played and enjoyed a multitude of Star Wars games ranging from Shadows of the Empire to LEGO Star Wars, but they all lack that certain sensation I got when playing these 3. No, I'm not big on Knights of the Old Republic. It's too much like an MMO. I just can't get into those. Don't ask. It doesn't matter though. As long as there's a Star Wars game for everyone, that's what it's all about. As for these titles, I highly recommend them to anyone. If you can't net yourself a physical copy, all three have been available on the Wii's Virtual Console since 2009. Check them out if you get the chance. With Episode 7 on the horizon, the future of Star Wars is looking great. Once more, we'll get to see our favorites from the galaxy far, far away. Till then, you all have a good National Star Wars Day, and may the 4th be with you.